Now, student, the third is fuel cell. Now, what is the use of fuel cell? Before studying fuel cell, we will discuss about the thermal power station. In thermal power station, fossil fuels like coal, right? Coal gas, coal tar, all these are used, and when they are undergoing combustion, they produce heat. That heat is used to produce steam from water, high pressure steam from water, and that steam runs the turbine. When steam runs the turbine, electricity is generated. But during this process, majority of the heat is lost into the atmosphere. So the efficiency of thermal power plant to generate electricity is around about 25 to 30, a maximum 40%. 60% is waste into the atmosphere. So a better one is a fuel cell compared to thermal power station to generate electricity. So what is fuel cell? A specially designed galvanic cell in which energy produced by the combustion of fuels like H2, methane or methanol is directly converted to electricity so that the waste is minimized. Clear? So what is fuel cell? It is a specially designed galvanic cell. Because we have studied galvanic cell, it converts directly chemical energy into electrical energy. Means it produces electricity directly. So here also galvanic cell, a specially designed galvanic cell in which the heat produced by the combustion, energy produced by the combustion of fuel like methane, either you can use H2 or methanol, it is directly converted to electricity so that the waste is minimized. Clear? While in thermal power station, on combustion of coal, heat is produced, that heat is used to convert water into high pressure steam, and that high pressure steam will run the turbines. So under this situation, maximum heat is lost into the atmosphere, and that's why the efficiency is only 40%, right? Now, principle, actually already written here. It converts chemical energy to electrical energy. Second, construction. Let us discuss what is construction of this fuel cell, right? In construction, fixed two electrodes these are the two porous electrodes. Porous graphite electrode. Right? One is acting as anode another is acting as cathode. So fix two porous graphite electrode in a container, right? Acting as anode and cathode. Here, both the electrodes are filled with finely divided particles of platinum or palladium. These are catalysts. And you know, catalyst increases the rate of reaction. So, both these porous graphite rod, they are filled with a catalyst, platinum or palladium particles, finely divided particles, to increase the rate of electrode reactions. Okay? So why we are filling this finely divided particles of platinum and palladium at anode and cathode? Just to increase the rate of electrode reaction. So this you have to remember, they can ask you as a short question, right? Between them you can fill aqueous, concentrated aqueous NaOH solution or any aqueous electrolyte. It should be aqueous electrolyte. Pass H2 gas from anode and O2 gas from cathode. So this is the construction of fuel cell. Now, anode and cathode both are porous graphite rod filled with platinum, and that we have written, so no need to write it. Now working. When both are connected and when H2 gas is passed through anode, O2 gas is passed through cathode, the following reaction takes place. At anode, what you are passing? H2 gas. So that H2 gas will combine with the aqueous electrolyte and gives you water. Right? At cathode, what you are passing at cathode? O2 gas. That O2 gas will combine with water, right, and gives you 4OH minus, and gives you 4OH minus. So now 4 electron will be cancelled, 4OH will be cancelled, from 4 water 2 water will be cancelled. So what will be the net reaction? See, I have taken 1 mole here just for remembering. If you take 1 mole oxygen, you have to take 2 waters. And here 2 moles hydrogen, 4 waters are produced. 4 electron cancel, 4OH minus cancel, 2 water is cancelled, from here 2 will be left. So the net reaction is 2H2 gas plus O2 gas gives 2H2O, right? You are writing liquid here, but actually you are getting in form of vapor, hot vapors. So these hot vapors, they are allowed to cool down, and then they are used for drinking purpose by the astronauts. In fuel cell, the water vapors produced in the cell reaction is cooled down and then used by the astronauts. For drinking, right, in space. Now, efficiency of the fuel. Is 70%. The efficiency of the fuel cell is 70% to generate electricity, more than is 70%, which is more than the efficiency of thermal power plants. Which is 40%. Approximate, yeah, maximum 40%. So, to generate electricity, fuel cell is a better cell compared to thermal power station. Yeah, thermal power plants, right? It does not create noise pollution nor air pollution. There is no noise pollution, there is no air pollution created when you are using fuel cell, right? It was first used by, that I am not write it here, it was first used by the American scientist Neil Armstrong during Apollo space program, and trials, experimental trials have been done to use it. But as you know that the calorific value of hydrogen is highest, there are chances of burning the cell, yeah, blasting the cell also, right? But trials have been done. In 11th standard you have studied one, right? So this was about fuel cell. So this is the most important. Yeah, potential of the cell is 1.2 volt. So now one important point, nowadays research is also going on and they are finding out a better way or a better catalyst as well as electrolyte which can increase the efficiency of the fuel cell, right? In near future we can use this fuel cell. If it is successful, then you can use water also as a fuel. Clear? Because by electrolysis of water it will create H2 which you can use as a fuel and O2 as a combustor. Now, the last topic of this chapter, dear students, it is corrosion. Now, what is corrosion? When metals comes in contact with air, or water, it gets corroded. When metal comes in contact with air or moisture, you can say, or water, it gets corroded. For example, rusting of iron takes place, right? Shining of silver get tarnished. Gets tarnished. That means the silver becomes dull, black type, right? Then green patches are formed on copper or bronze utensils. So all these happen due to corrosion, right? Due to corrosion, what happens? Oxide layer or salt layer is formed. On metal surface, right? Now when metal undergoes corrosion, it will destroy so many things. It will damage the building, constructions, bridges, or you can say each and every material prepared from metal, especially iron, right? So that you have to remember. Now, what is the mechanism of corrosion? Suppose this is a piece of iron and there is slight bend on the surface of iron. This is a piece of iron, right? And there is a slight bend. Wherever there is a slight bend on the surface of iron, it acts as anode. This portion acts as anode. The slight bend. At anode, you know, it will undergo oxidation. So Fe will be converted to Fe plus 2 electron. If you multiply by 2, it will be 2 Fe gives 2 Fe2 plus 4 electron. So wherever there is a slight bend on the surface of iron, that part acts as anode and immediately it gets oxidized and gets converted to Fe2 plus 4 electron. The electron released at anode will move to such a place. It will move to such a place where it can reduce oxygen of air into water. See, the electron released at anode will move to such a place where it can reduce oxygen of air into water, right? And you know, when water or air comes in contact, it gets corroded, right? Now, here you might be thinking that from where H plus is coming. O2 is from air, electrons are coming from anode. So H plus is available by decomposition of carbonic acid. On decomposition of carbonic acid, you will get H plus. If I multiply by 2, it will be 4H plus, which you required here. Right? So if a question arises in your mind from where H plus is available, H plus is available by the decomposition of carbonic acid or acidic oxide. It is an acidic oxide. Carbonic acid or acidic oxide. Right? So now question arises from where carbonic acid is obtained. H2CO3 is obtained by the reaction between moisture and carbon dioxide in air on the surface of metal, and you will get H2CO3. Right? If you want to write 2 times, you can balance it. So now the formation of H2CO3 is clear. H2CO3 is formed by reaction between moisture and carbon dioxide present in air on the surface of metal, and that H2CO3 will decompose to give you H plus. That H plus will be available at cathode to reduce O2 to water. Clear? So now you can write at anode your reaction is 2 Fe solid gives 2 Fe2 plus 2 electron. Here its E0 value is minus 0.44 volt. Right? At cathode, this E0 value means it's a reduction value. At cathode, O2 gas from the atmosphere in presence of H plus gets reduced to water. Here the E0 reduction of oxygen is 1.23 volt. These are the data given to you in your textbook. What is the net reaction? The net reaction will be here, 4 electrons. 4 electron cancel. Now nothing is cancelled, so we will write it each and everything. 2 Fe plus O2 plus 2 Fe plus O2 plus 4H plus gives 2 Fe2 plus water. Right? Here overall E0 cell will be, formula E0 cell at cathode minus anode 1.23 volt, E0 reduction at cathode minus E0 reduction at anode. Cathode is 1.23 volt minus 0.44 volt. So your answer will be 761. So this is your answer. E0 overall E0 cell will be 1.67 volt. Right? Now important point is, during this reduction reaction, Fe2 plus is further oxidized to Fe3 plus in presence of air. Fe2 plus is further oxidized to Fe3 plus in presence of air and forms Fe2O3 dot XH2O. That is called rust. So here your rusting starts on the surface. Clear? Fe2O3 dot XH2O. So this is the rusting. Now, what are the methods to prevent corrosion? Prevention. One, by painting. One of the method is by painting the metal surface. So metal will not come in contact with air. Second, by galvanizing. With metals like zinc or tin. If you coat it, zinc or tin on the surface of iron, then it will not come in contact with it. Third, using chemicals like bisphenol. So this is important, by using chemicals like bisphenol. Fourth, using sacrificial anode. Like zinc or magnesium. This you have studied in 10th. The bottom part of the steamer is made up of iron and it is always in contact with the water, right? But still it doesn't undergo corrosion. Why? Because that bottom part of the steamer, which is made up of iron, is attached with either zinc or magnesium. So that zinc or magnesium will act as anode. And under this condition, zinc and magnesium are said to be sacrificial anode. These two are said to be sacrificial anode because these two are sacrificed, and therefore we need to replace zinc or magnesium periodically from the bottom part of the steamer. So this point you have to remember. So what are the methods for the prevention of corrosion? One, by painting. You have to paint the metal surface so it will not come in contact with air. Second, by galvanizing, right? Either with, or you can say coating of metal with metal, zinc on the surface of iron or tin. Third, using chemicals like bisphenol, right? And fourth, by using sacrificial anode. So when you use zinc or magnesium as a sacrificial anode in the bottom part of the steamer, you have to change it periodically. Clear? So here your electrochemistry is over. Tomorrow we will do the questions, index questions as well as exercise. Okay, thank you.